Hello students, and welcome back to the English Danny channel. I'm Teacher John, and I'm here to help you become great at using English. This is the first video for the English Cooking Corner. In these videos, you can learn English cooking and food words, phrases, and how to cook English recipes. Please consider subscribing by pressing the red subscribe button below. Also, be sure to like and share this video. Today, we will learn to cook chicken soup. You will also learn many different words so that you can also cook it, and even talk about it with your friends. Let's get started. To start, let's look at the vegetables we will use. We will use 1 onion, 2 ribs of celery, and 2 medium carrots. Make sure you wash the celery because it can be dirty sometimes. Next, let's chop our onion. You will need to chop the ends of the onion off and then cut halfway down the middle. Then you can peel the skin off the onion. You can just throw away everything you cut and peeled off. Next, finish chopping the onion in half. Next, you can see how I chop the onion. Here, I'm just doing a rough chop. The pieces don't need to be very small. For our celery, we want to chop it a bit differently. I don't like big chunks of celery, so I chop it into cubes like this. This is called cubing. So, you need to cube the celery like I show here. Next, our carrots. Carrots have a skin on them that we don't want to eat because the texture is bad. So, we can peel them off using a tool called a peeler. Just chop the ends off the carrot and peel the skin off like this. Again, just throw away the skin. It is not important. Let's cube this carrot, just like we cubed the celery. You'll want to do the same thing. Chop the carrot in half, then chop into smaller, long pieces. Then, cube those pieces. Congratulations! You've prepared our vegetables for this soup. Here they are. It's important to prepare things before you cook. You'll also want to get your chicken. For this recipe, I'm using 4 bone-in chicken thighs. These work well because of the skin, bones, and fat in the thighs. You can also use 1 whole chicken. Let's go see what we'll use to cook with. I'm using a medium-sized pot. It makes about 6 servings of soup. So, it's time to put our chicken into the pot. Add the vegetables we prepared into the pot. We'll also be adding 2 teaspoons or 10 grams of a dried herb called thyme. Now you can add your liquid. I'm adding about 8 cups or 1.8 liters of water, or however much you need to cover the chicken and fill the pot. After this, I like to stir it around a bit just to mix everything together. Now, we'll turn our heat onto high and leave it on high until the soup starts to simmer like this. We don't want the soup to boil. We just want to cook it very gently. Stir it a little bit just to make sure everything is okay. Once the soup is simmering and not boiling, reduce the heat to low, like this, and cover the soup with the lid. Okay, we're going to cook the soup like this for 1 hour. You can check on the soup a few times and stir it a bit, but I like to just let it cook for 1 hour without touching it. So, after 1 hour, your soup should look something like this. You should be able to see the chicken fat on top of the soup, and the chicken should be fully cooked. Looks great, but it's not ready yet. Now, we're going to remove the chicken from the soup. I'm using a tool called tongs to do this, which makes it very easy. Remove the chicken to a plate and let the chicken cool down for about 10 to 15 minutes. During this time, give the soup another stir and add 1/2 teaspoon or 2.5 grams of another dried herb called marjoram. We're building some really great flavor now. Go ahead and stir the marjoram in. I like this next step because it helps to build the chicken flavor of the soup. Skim off some of the chicken fat on top and add it to a small bowl. You can see how much I'm skimming off here. Probably about 1 cup or 235 milliliters. Next, take 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of flour and put it into the fat you skimmed off. Take a fork and mix these together until it looks and smells like a chicken gravy. This is going to help boost the flavor of our soup and also make it just a little bit thicker. So, put the gravy into the soup and mix together quickly with a whisk. You'll start to see that the soup thickens a little bit. Let's go back to our chicken, which should be cool enough to handle right now. You can see I can just pull the chicken off of the bone with my hands. You'll want to pull all the chicken off and throw away the bones. Before we put our chicken back in, we should taste the soup. We are checking for the flavor. Maybe it needs a little bit of salt or pepper. Well, I tasted mine and it needed both. So I added 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of salt and 1/2 teaspoon or 2.5 grams of black pepper. Stir the salt and pepper in, and I tasted my soup and it was perfect. Now it's time to put our chicken back into the soup. Just throw it in and stir it around. There, you're done. You can, of course, add more ingredients to the soup. Many people like to make it spicy. This soup is very warm. It tastes savory, rich, and deep in flavor. It reminds me of something my mother would make. This is also very healthy. You can also add some cooked noodles to it or some rice. I'm going to add both. Wow, that tastes great. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson and recipe. The full list of ingredients can be found in the description, where you can find more English learning videos. Also, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing this video. Thanks for tuning in to the English Danny channel.